Hello, in this video we are going to see how to implement swatches in Shopify natively and without needing third-party apps thanks to the recently introduced Product Taxonomy. Thanks to this feature, we are going to be able to assign images to product options and then subsequently display them in different places in our theme, such as product pages or collection pages. Before this change, to add swatches, you will either need to install a third-party app or build your own solution using meta objects. But after the public release of Product Taxonomy in Shopify Editions of Summer 2024, that's no longer the case. So with all of that said, let's see how we can enable this. So here I have a development store I created for this, and I'm going to go to products, and I'm going to look for the one that has variants, the complete snowboard. This one over here has this color option and these 5 values for it, but it doesn't have images associated to it, so far we cannot use swatches. To enable this, we are going to first need to assign a product category here. This is what's going to enable the product taxonomy. So here we can see that Shopify is already suggesting that this is a snowboard, and this is indeed one. So let's select this. And Shopify is already suggesting 7 category meta fields. So if we scroll down, we are going to see here these category meta fields. The difference between these category meta fields and the regular meta fields is that these meta fields will only show for products that are of this snowboards category. So other products in this store will not have these meta fields that we are selecting over here enabled. In this case, I selected color. I'm going to save this. And now let's populate this. So I am now going to click on here, on this option, and we have this connect meta field icon at the top right. If I click on this, we see the different meta fields that we can connect this to. In this case, we have the category meta fields that are suggested here at the bottom, including color, the one we enabled. So I'm going to select this. And now we can see that we can associate a color to each one of these options. However, they have this dotted outline, meaning that nothing is associated to them yet. So if I try to save this, it's going to give me an error because now I will have to associate this to one of the colors that are available. Ice is not a color yet, so I will have to create an entry for this. I'm going to pick this blue for it, for example, and the base color, I'm going to say that it is blue. Then I'm going to save this, and we see that we have ice associated to this, and we can see this color. I'm going to populate these other ones of camera, and I'll come back in a moment. So with these colors now populated, I can click here on Save. And now my options have swatches over here. Now let's see how these are working internally so we have a better understanding of what is happening behind the scenes. So first of all, you can see that as I was populating these options over here, they were populated with colors over here in the category meta fields value. If we go to Settings now and go to Custom Data over here and click on Products, we can see that there are 3 meta fields. There is one assigned to this category, and then there are these 2 that came with this store. The category meta field, as I mentioned, is only present in products that are of type snowboard. So if, for example, I go to products and click on gift card, this one has a different category. Therefore, it doesn't have the color category meta field that we created a moment ago. Now, if we click on content under meta objects, we are going to see there is a meta object definition for color. And if we click on this, we are going to find the different values we assigned to the color product option a moment ago. We can click on any of these and edit their content from here. Now, if we go back over here, we can also click on Manage Definition to see the full meta object definition that is used over here. But if we click on any of these fields, you can see that you cannot edit them. This is because Shopify is the one managing this. They are standardizing this feature. Therefore, you can use these meta objects, but you cannot edit their structure. And now let's go to products here. And let's quickly select all of this. And let's click here on bulk edit. And we're going to select all of this and accept the snowboards product category. So we are going to click here on accept suggestion. And in this one, we are also going to do for snowboards as well. And we are going to click on save over here. So now all of the snowboards in the store have the category meta field of color because we already selected this for this category. Now, how do I show this in my theme? Well, this feature has been in the works for a while, so there are many themes that already support this in their latest version. Don't be one of them. So if I click here on preview and find the product that has swatches, which was this one, we can see that the swatches are working right away. But now what happens when a theme doesn't support this? How can we add support manually for swatches in a theme? Let's see how to do that. So I have here down version 12, which is an older version of this theme. I got this by going to the releases pages on GitHub because this theme is open source. And I scroll down to version 12 over here because, as we can see in the changelog for version 13, this is when swatches were introduced. So now, if I preview this theme and I go to the complete snowboard, we are going to see that we don't have swatches here yet because this feature has not been implemented at this point. Now, let's see how we can implement it. Now, I have my theme cloned locally over here. If you don't know how to do this, I have a tutorial covering the step-by-step process on doing this, but you can also follow along by using Shopify's editor by clicking on these three dots over here and clicking on Edit Code. I'm going to run here now Shopify Theme Dev and pass the S flag with the URL from my store, which I'm going to grab from here, and then add my Shopify. This will open the store in localhost in a local server. So my store is now open in this port over here. We can see the store running locally. And if I click on this, the complete snowboard, we're going to see we still don't have swatches. So now how do we implement this? Well, we're going to need to change product and variant options. This is specific to this theme over here, depending on the theme you're using. The code for managing the options in the buy box for the product page can be in a different file. For this implementation, we are going to be relying on the swatch property for the product option object. If we click on this, we're going to see that it has two properties, color and image. So what we are going to do is that if there is an image defined, we are going to display that. Otherwise, we're going to display the color. So over here, let's first cut this. And we are going to add a conditional here. If option.swatch. Now, the option is in value. So if value.swatch, we're going to render the swatch. Else, we are going to render just the text as simple as before. So here is where we are going to add our swatch code. And let's once again copy this and paste it here. We're going to try to keep the same structure because the only thing that should be changing is what is inside of this label because this is what the customer will be seeing. We're going to try to keep everything else the same so the JavaScript of this theme can continue to work without any additional changes. So here we're going to say if value.swatch.image, we're going to do value.swatch.image. We're going to use the image URL filter, and we're going to display an image with a width of 100 pixels. We're going to add an image tag, and we are going to give this a class of option swatch content. Then we're going to do an else if value.swatch.color. It should always be defined because a swatch has either an image or a color, and we are already checking that the swatch is defined, but it isn't hard to do a check again here. And now I'm going to add a div here, and this is going to have the class once again of option swatch content. And we're going to add here a style attribute, background color. This will be equal to value.swatch.color. Let's also add a span here and display the text content of this option and give it a class of visually hidden. This way, screen readers can still see what this option is about, but users using a regular screen will not be seeing this label. And also, if the option is disabled, the div, and this the div here, if option is disabled, we are going to once again add a span that is hidden. We're going to add varied, sold out, or unavailable. This visually hidden class is implemented in this theme. This is how that class looks like, in case you want to copy it and use it with your own. But anyways, let's see what we have so far. So if we come here to the theme, and we open the developer tools to inspect this, we can see that even though we are not seeing anything over here yet, if I open this label over here, we can see the div that I just added with the style referencing the correct background color, and this span visually hidden containing the option name. So now let's style this to look like a real swatch. We're going to add to this label a class so we can easily target it. Let's just give the class option swatch. And now we're going to look for product.css, section with product.css. This one contains the code for the options. So type radio. And this one should be it. So if I say that this should not apply to option swatch, then we can see here that nothing is displaying. Now let's copy this entire selector over here. And let's remove this node. And let's style this to apply specifically to the option swatch. So let's give this a height of 30 pixels and a width of 30 pixels. Let's add a border radius of also 30 pixels. Let's add overflow hidden. You'll see why in a moment. Cursor pointer. This should be display inline block. And the position will be relative because the image will have position absolute and will be inside of this. Now we're going to do, let's copy all of this entire selector, paste it here. And now we look for option swatch content. Over here, we're going to do position absolute, down 50%, left 50%, transform, translate, minus 50% and minus 50%. We are basically just centering this inside of this option swatch container. Then we're going to give this an object with cover for the cases where this element is an image, height of 100%, a width of 100%, and a display block. Next, we are going to copy this once again, paste it here, and now the pseudo class checked. When this radio button is checked, because remember, this over here is a radio button, but we are hiding it and instead are styling everything inside this label. When this is checked, we are going to add here an outline of 1 pixel, so in black, and an outline offset of 2 pixels. And let's save, and let's see what we have so far. So over here, you can already see that we have these options. I can start changing them, and you can see over here at the top that this is changing. And if I add this to the cart, you can see that color electric, this was the yellow one. This should be color eyes, so this is working. We can maybe add a bit of margin between these items, like maybe doing over here, margin right, 4 pixels. So this looks a bit better. And now let's also style when an option is unavailable. So I went ahead and made this sunset option unavailable, but you can see that there is no visual indicator that this is unavailable. So let's fix that. We can see here that disabled items are already getting this disabled class. So the only thing we need to do is copy this selector over here and add this disabled class. you can see how this option disabled is computed. Now in this case, looking for option disabled, let's go to the top. It is computed like this. You can see the source code of DOM. I'll be linking that in the video description in case you want to inspect this closer. But going back to CSS, we're going to here add opacity 0.5. And you can see that this item is already looking lighter. However, a customer could think that this is just the color of the swatch. So let's add a light here crossing this to better indicate that this item is unavailable. So once again, let's copy this selector here. And let's add after, then content. We are going to copy all of this actually, including the position, because we're going to be positioning that line above everything else in this element. Then we're going to be giving this a height of 100 pixels, a width of 1 pixel, and a background of gray. Let's save this and let's see what we get. So we get the line, but it is not rotated. So let's add here, rotate 135 degrees. And we can see here that we have a gray line crossing this unavailable swatch. So even though we can click on this, we now see that it is unavailable and there is an indicator that it is unavailable. And of course, this is just an example. You can change this indicator with CSS to be more cohesive with your team if you need to. And let's see how images look like. So I'm going to change this one over here to have an image. I don't have a swatch image over here, but we can use this as an example, as the idea should be roughly the same. And now, if I refresh this, we can see that the image is loading. I can select it, it has its indicator, so our solution works for that too. And lastly, let's add another option that doesn't have swatches associated to it, just to see that text options are still working. So I'm just going to add here text option. And I'm going to add access value 91 and value 2 and value 3. So if we save this, and now go to the store, we can see here that these text options are showing and our swatches are continuing to work. So we can say that the implementation of swatches in this theme is complete. And there you have it. This is how you can add swatches natively to a Shopify theme by leveraging the new features introduced with Product Taxonomy. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more Shopify related content, and I'll see you all in the next video.